Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So it is yet another great week to be a VR gamer. A huge name title is dropping, the Ninja Turtles are coming to VR, we got a little bit of a tease regarding the Valve Deckard, there's some really cool software that I want people to try out on their VR headset that's not related to gaming, and finally, it's not all good news because there's some things going over at Pico that we'll have to discuss. However, I think we're about to break into a whole new era for VR games. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by VR Rock, makers of prescription lens inserts for all of your favorite VR headsets. Quest 3 inserts are now available for purchase, and I'm extremely happy to announce that they've significantly dropped their pricing on this product. They magnetically connect for easy insertion and removal, so if you wear eyeglasses and struggle to fit them inside the VR headset, or you're concerned about scratching your lenses, go check out VR Rock down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 10% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so normally we start things off with a check-in, and that is what exactly have I been up to in the VR world. But this week is business as usual. I'm actually playing more for fun than anything else. I'm not preparing any specific content for this week, so let's not waste any time and just move into the new games releasing, starting with Pavlov Shack. Pavlov Shack is an absolutely beloved and classic VR shooter. It's finally making its way to become a full release on the MetaQuest platform, and if you're not familiar with this game, it's basically Counter-Strike in VR. It has all of those beloved gameplay modes like Search and Destroy, Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, a few other more nuanced gameplay modes like a 9v1 asymmetrical monster hunt, plus there's a huge array of additional content in the form of mods. I highly recommend you check out Pavlov Shack, it's my #1 favorite shooter, and just because I know someone will comment this, Contractors may be your favorite VR shooter, but it's not mine, even though it's a close second. But let's move on to some more new releases. And if guns aren't for you, why not slap a few people in Slappy Board? This title will give you multiple themed scenarios where you'll have the option to try and keep calm or just go around slapping everybody, blowing off some steam. It looks like it might have the same appeal as something like Drunken Bar Fight, and while I'm pretty sure this won't be my go-to game, you can't deny the fact that it looks highly immersive. Now if you rather immerse yourself in some fantasy melee battles, we have Ironstrike. This 4-player fantasy co-op roguelike features physics-based swordplay, gesture-based spellcasting, and a vibrant, creature-filled fantasy world to explore. Now I definitely enjoy these style of games, and this almost looks like a combination of Iron Lights meets Dungeons of Eternity. But for those of us in the VR community looking for more recognizable IPs or AAA titles, well, we're finally getting the release of Assassin's Creed Nexus. For the first time in the series history, not only is it going first person, but also fully virtual. This is a brand new storyline in the Assassin's Creed universe that'll have you donning the hood of multiple different assassins. You'll get to parkour and sneak across large open cities, and of course take down some enemies with some physics-based combat. Now I've never been a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed series, mainly because I'm not into the stealth genre, but I did play a demo of this roughly 2 months ago, and I found it extremely intriguing, and I'm excited to try some more. Now our next release isn't exactly a new game, but rather the Ninja Turtles coming to Rec Room. The Trials of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a brand new adventure from Rec Room that you could jump into later this week with your buddies. You'll rock the shell, mask, and iconic weapons of those 4 heroes, and then go kick some butt and eat some pizza. They're also releasing limited time Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle avatars, so if that's something you're looking for, make sure to jump back into Rec Room later this week. Now moving on to brand new game announcements, there's 2 clips I was dying to show off because these games look amazing, but unfortunately they've kind of pushed back their trailer release, and I can't show them to you just yet, which is really frustrating. These games look awesome. Instead, we have one other great looking game that was recently announced, and that was Big Shots VR. Big Shots is a co-op mech piloting roguelite. You'll take down hordes of alien creatures in order to earn some new upgrades and eventually build your unstoppable mech to reclaim Earth. Now I know a lot of people aren't into the shell-shaded cartoony style graphics, but I think they work fantastically well in VR. I'm also really surprised that we don't have more mech games in VR, so I'm definitely looking forward to try out this title when it releases next year. Now I wanted to stop and go over a few non-gaming applications that I recently tried out. I know plenty of people enjoy using VR for things like content creation and content consumption. Now these 3 applications do just that. The first is Virtex Stadium, which allows you to watch esports in VR. They previously did an experience with Counter-Strike that allowed you to get right into the action of the game and view it from any angle you'd like. They also have a collaboration with League of Legends coming, and you'll get to sit back in a stadium and enjoy this esport in a giant party watch situation. Now, if you're more into actual sports, Xtadium does something similar with both the UFC and the NBA. Imagine feeling like you're either ring or courtside while enjoying a beautiful 360-degree view. Xtadium allows you to do just that, and it's a whole new way to view these sports. But if content creation is more your style, we have VStreamer. If you're into the whole streaming scene, it's very likely that you came across a VTuber at some point in time. These are people who use digital avatars instead of showing themselves. Now, previously, you needed a PC to do this, but now you can just download VStreamer from App Lab and get everything up and running with just a Quest. You'll have the option to stream to all of the basic platforms, and you're not forced to use Meta's avatars, as you could use third-party avatars like those from Ready Player Me. So if you have any interest in becoming a VTuber, go check out VStreamer. Now before we go into today's main topic, we just have a few quick hardware stories, starting with a little tease for the Valve Deckard. So the brand new Steam Deck OLED will be releasing this week, and during an interview with Norm from Tested, they were asked some questions about VR. Now there's obviously no major news here or product announcements, but it's always nice to hear that Valve is still working on VR. And just to wrap up the latest rumors, the Valve Deckard is expected to have inside-out tracking, camera pass-through, environment understanding, both eye and hand tracking, and to be produced in the millions of units. But as good as all of that sounds, it's still just in the tease category. Now we did see some pretty bad news for Pico, as they've recently laid off hundreds of employees. They've also canceled their Beat Saber clone called Blitz, and it also looks like Meta may have made a deal with Tencent to bring the Quest to China. Now I'm sure plenty of you are wondering why we should even care about Pico, but this was the only other company that actually was some serious competition to Meta, or at least could match them money-wise. Now it looks like they're realizing that you don't make instant money in the VR field. It is a long stretch, something that Meta shareholders have been also finding out, and it looks like Pico just doesn't want to be involved in that race. Or maybe something else is going on, but that's where it stands, and it kind of sucks because I did like a lot of things that Pico was doing. I don't want to see them just fall off a cliff. Meta definitely needs competition. Without competition, no one really thrives. It just kind of stagnates. So yeah, let's hope things change, but for now, it's just not looking great for Pico. And let's finally get into the main topic, how we are moving into a new era of VR. Now, I'm seeing a weird trend in the comments lately. It feels like a lot of Quest owners are now at the position where OG PCVR players were around 2020. So basically, we love VR, but we want more from it. We're looking for better games, more AAA style games. We want the quality of VR to rise, and we've been waiting. And it feels like Questers just got to that point when PCVR people were there years ago, and then they became jaded, or at least some did, with the transition to standalone gaming, which is something that had to happen for the industry to continue to grow. But we know that years ago we were getting better VR games, and now we're waiting for those good games to come up again. Well, I'm happy to report it looks like 2024 is going to be that year. Not only are some extremely high quality games just around the corner, Meta is also finally breaking into some well-known IPs. While Vampire the Masquerade is still kind of niche, it's a fantastic world to explore, and the game was extremely well received. There's also more well-known IPs on the way, including Stranger Things, Assassin's Creed, and Attack on Titan. Now, Meta has also owned multiple studios for years now, and we're about to see the fruits of their labor. Asgard's Wrath is going to drop in the near future, and this is a massive title, which should basically show us what the Quest 3 is fully capable of. So those bigger and better games that people have been asking for are finally coming. The Quest 3 is also introducing some whole new use cases for the technology. Not only does this include new ways of content consumption like I showed off in today's video, but there's also mixed reality and a slew of productivity apps. If there was ever going to be a time where VR pops off more than usual, it's going to be the end of 2023 through the holiday season and throughout 2024. I'm telling you guys, I've seen a lot of cool stuff in the works, and it's going to be some exciting times. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I love hearing your feedback, so go do that down below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Okay, everybody, I'll see you on next time.